Hello everybody, how's it going? My name is Nick, aka Capers, and on behalf of Rad Nauseam today, I'm bringing you some high quality paper magic content. I'm here today with Billy, aka Kixian. How are you, Billy?
Yeah, good man. Really excited to bring some high quality paper content.
It is high quality. I think people should remember that the quality of this content is quite high. Today we have, this wasn't actually shot at a weeklies, but it was shot at Plenty of Games, so shout out to Plenty of Games for letting us come in on a Saturday and just set up our stuff and start recording. They're really good like that. Yeah, big shout out to them. And also, we've gotten a lot of support from the Discord recently, so if you could please give this video a like and subscribe, it does help us a lot. Let's jump into the deck list. Today we have Jeskai Wizard Blade paper copy. That's probably not part of the deck, but it is a tempo Jeskai Blade deck. I think this is a really interesting deck from Stony. We're playing a Stoneforge Mystic in the main, and the Stoneforge Mystic package is one of the coolest I've seen in a while. A lot cooler than Junk, I'd imagine. We have a Cryptic Coat in here. We have a Corey Stillcutter, an Astrologian's Planisphere as well, which is the new Final Fantasy equipment that gets out of control quite quickly, and a pre-war formal wear. So even a reanimation spell in our Jeskai deck is going to feel really good. Some other inclusions here are the Price of Progress in the main board, which is going to be quite interesting into a lands matchup, and the Flame of Anor. I think the Flame of Anor, as you can see, we actually have a large number of wizards in the main, so the Flame of Anor is going to always be on, and we have a Dreadhorde Arcanist as well. So this is a really sweet deck. I'm really excited to see how it plays out. Yeah, let's jump into the lands list.
Yeah, if you've watched some of the previous videos, I would have already covered this list, but give the same rundown. It's just a lot of powerful lands, different ways to find them, lots of land tutors, lots of ways to break parity on the number of lands you have, and then also just an aggressive sort of creature package, trying to keep it quite low to the ground, strip mine some people and stop them casting spells.
Yep, two different flavors of control decks fighting off. It's very exciting to see how it's going to pan out. So yeah, let's jump into the gameplay. Alrighty, Jeskai Wizard Tempo Blade versus lands. Very interesting game. Let's see how a tempo deck plays against land. What do you think about a tempo deck, Billy? Do you think how would you define the word tempo in the current texture of our format?
Any deck that has days in it, right? That makes a deck tempo, yeah, if you play days.
That is the tempo.
Notably, we did see Stony just mull to 5 as this game started. So Stony on a mull to 5. I can't remember if I'm on 6 or 7, but certainly I'm not on 5. So a little bit of an advantage there.
But he has a great start here. Early pressure can be quite good against lands, and a Dragon's Rage Channeler is going to give him the card selection to kind of, get his cub. Never mind.
Yeah. Turn 2, Sidecat Cub, getting it down early. Try and get some counters on this kitty.
Yeah, it's a good one. Printed in Foundations as well, so, a new one. It's been very good in this format. I really like this card. I think it's great in the format. I think the power level is really good too. And it keeps decks honest. It's an honest green creature that gets big. It makes you play your fetch lands, and I think it's just a great inclusion to the format. So,
seeing Stony here, looks like he's playing a Dreadhorde Arcanist. So quite a strong start. Dragon Rage Channeler into Dreadhorde, despite the multi 5. He's, got some stuff going on.
Yeah. We're coming out. We're representing multiple spells per turn as well with the Arcanist and Surveil. So putting together a nice little engine to fill up that graveyard for, the Oculus that he might have in his deck somewhere, or even just the ability to kind of tear through and replay some cantrips or something. So your hand, it looks like you've got some Lava Spur Boots in there too, so...
Yeah, I think Lava Spur Boots, Crucible, Life from the Loam, and some lands. So the choices here basically are to play the Crucible or to play the Life from the Loam and the Lava Spur Boots. Obviously starting with the land drop, put that counter on the cat and start it growing. So notably the cat, unlike Bristly Bill, the first land for the turn is going to put a counter on, and the second land for turn is going to double the number of counters on that target creature, which for the first one, obviously, first counter goes on, second one doubles. That's sort of the same thing, but every turn afterwards, that doubling is going to get out of control pretty quickly.
Now, if you screen hard enough, Sidecat Cub is just Marit Lage, right? It's a big creature that you need lands to make big.
Yep. Yeah, and notably has Trample, so better than Marit Lage, really.
I think it is better than Marit Lage. Printed a lot later too, which is probably why and a nice forest. So playing around the potential for you might have been sniffing out a Price of Progress or maybe a Back to Basics or Harbinger out of this deck could be quite difficult for you. So very smart, very heads
Yeah,
up.
so don't think I had seen Stoney's deck list at this point, but coming out of a Jeskai deck, you definitely want to be worried about both those cards, the Flood Moon and the Price of Progress. Certainly a lot of Flood Moons floating around plenty of games at the moment.
Yeah, they're everywhere, and we have the boots, post-combat boots. Just get them into play, I guess, and then
Yeah, so Loam on the fetch land here guarantees that I've got the fetch land for the cat next turn, and just gives me a look at some extra lands off the Dredge Loam, as opposed to the Crucible would have been able to play that fetch land from the graveyard next turn, but would open myself up to graveyard hate and also not going to see some additional lands off the Loam. So yeah, also gets the Lava Spur Boots into play, and we're seeing Stony fire off a Brainstorm.
yeah, seeing a lot of cards too. So he's probably quite priced into a removal spell. I can see there's a Price of Progress amongst his hand. So maybe playing two that he's outs there, which is nice, and deciding what he wants to put on top.
Having a little think, he's possibly going to get to resolve this Brainstorm again in the future off the Dreadhorde. So he's certainly going to see a lot of cards if he wants to.
Yeah, fetch land here kind of hides away those brainstormed cards too, so he can select some cards, re-brainstorm them away up, fetch to. Maybe...
Just trying to look at his graveyard here. Looks like he's one type off Delirium at the moment, so he's got land, instant, and sorcery.
Yeah, correct.
Stony in the tank. Not sure what he's thinking about here, but he is going to get to cast something again here. So this is the three damage to a player, a Bolt Wave or something, I believe it's called.
Yep, bolt waving you. Correct.
So Bolt Wave going to go with the Dreadhorde. He's going to have his choice between Bolt Wave and Brainstorm, and looks like he's Bolt Waving an additional time.
Yeah. Maybe giving away that he could have some more burn spells in hand. I think he's opted now. He's accepted that is probably his best out to this game after being Brainstorm locked is a Price of Progress, which is one of the two cards in his hand, so could be what he's playing out to. But there is a Life from the Loam Dredge, and we hit 2 lands. Very good. And a Bojuka Bog, a notable one as well, into this Dragon's Rage channel. So, and this, yeah, really good land to hit, actually.
Yeah, so paying off there, going for the Loam last turn instead of the Crucible. We're seeing the additional lands here. Obviously still have the ability to get them out of the grave with both the Crucible and the Life from the Loam, but hitting that Bojuka Bog is going to allow me to cut off the Dreadhorde Arcanist here from that Brainstorm if that's the line I want to go down.
Yeah, really good hit. And yeah, really weird that it's so relevant in this game against the Jeskai deck, but it just shows you how neat main interaction can.
So if we play the fetch land here, the cat will get a 3rd counter, and then the fetch coming in would double that. But it looks like I am going for the bog. Obviously aware that he's got that Brainstorm in the bin. So I've returned the bog here, just equipping the boots on the cat. And yeah, playing the bog, targeting Stony there, and getting rid of that Brainstorm. So the cat not going to get the double on this turn, but it is going to get the +1/+0 from the boots, so getting in for 6 damage.
Yeah. I think it's not going to change the clock here. I think it's still just a turn to provide lethal, so yeah, just keeping yourself safe. That Brainstorm does also represent a chance to find maybe like a land and a swords or something. And it's also weirdly good against the Mystic Sanctuary that was also in his hand, so good.
So Stony having a bit of a think here. I think he realizes obviously that cat is going to kill him next turn if he can't get the job done here or find some sort of removal.
Happen for something. Volcanic, and that is a Cosmogrand Zenith. Very sweet art as well. And I think this Cosmogrand Zenith might be on blocking duty. It's got quite a big toughness. And second spell this turn would let him make some soldiers, but he's instead going to hold back his final card. So maybe hoping that you play out a land or two and Don't hear any
Yeah,
of
so
those.
it's Life from the Loam, Dredge, misses there.
It's a rare one.
But I do have, plenty of lands in hand at the moment. The fetch land and the tiger that you can see are currently in my hand. We've got Life from them there. At some point, I will realize and untap my Southcat Cub, I believe.
Yeah, I agree, and a little bit of cheating there as well with you've only got one pair of Lava Spur boots. It has 4 legs. I think you needed the second copy for it to have the hasten +1/+0. So luckily this isn't comp REL, but next time obviously be prepared. Make sure you have both of your boots pairs.
So how many then does Marilage need? Given it, does it have legs? It's got tentacles.
Yeah, I guess 8. You get 4.
8?
Yeah, you need 4
Not none?
copies of Lava Spur boots. Well, tentacles. Yeah, it's got to wear them, right?
Okay. Can't just hold them. No, doesn't work like that. Okay. Well, okay. So we have played the land, put the counter on the cat, and obviously, given it's a fetch land here, can hold up the doubling side of the counters to do that at instant speed. Stoney
10-10?
probably well aware of that.
Yeah, it's 10-10. It's a very big cat, right?
Yeah, so it would be 11-10 just
true,
thanks
yeah.
to the boots. But yeah, given it's got trample, Stoney is needing to put some toughness in front of it. I believe he actually goes here for the block with the Dreadhorde, and we have a discussion about how if that is his block, he is actually Zed. So yeah, I think he indicates that he wants to block with the Dreadhorde, and then asks a question here about exactly. I believe the question is what happens with the counters? Does it get an additional counter and then double, or is it simply doubling the amount of counters on it? And it is the latter. So the 4 counters would become 8, which would represent 11 power, meaning that if the Dreadhorde was the only blocker, he would die, given he is at 8. So we have that sort of discussion. I explain it to him, and I believe, yeah, he is going to change his blocks as a result.
Good honest magic as well. It's great to watch. A nice green creature just getting in, doing the coast to coast work that needs to be done against these control lists with their main board prices of progresses and their pointed cards. Very nice.
Yeah, I think if you have Price of Progress main deck, you're the bad guy. I think that's how it works.
That's
so...
exactly, yeah. Price of progress, any Blood Moon effect as well. Any land destruction in general, I think. I think Commander's gotten it right here with their...
No. I wouldn't go that far, but we are seeing the block switched here to, the Cosmic Grand Zenith, so with the 4 toughness, would allow Stoney to live with 1, and yeah, it looks like I am deciding that Price Progress might be a factor. I'm fetching the basic, just to play around that. So I guess, yeah, somewhat of a soul read on the Price Progress there, but at this point, it is probably one of Stoney's only outs, obviously removal, but in terms of... although I guess, yeah, he is going to 1, so I have changed my mind. We had this discussion at the time saying that he can't really fire off the Price of Progress to win the game. So I have got greedy and gone for the Surveil.
Yes, the greed. I think it's still not lethal, right? Maybe, what is it? It's 8 right now? It does draw the game, but I'm happy to play 4 games of against land.
So it looks like I've gone for the Crucible here and passing the turn.
Now, you told me yesterday this card, Crucible, used to be pointed. Am I right?
It would have been before my time, but yes, Crucible, I believe, was pointed at some point. Certainly when I started playing the format, Life from the Loam was still pointed. I do believe in the early days, Crucible was... We'll have to fact check, but I believe it was at one point multiple points.
Yes, that is a crazy prospect for me. Yeah. It's a good card.
You have to remember, the clocks were much slower back in the day. People weren't, killing you with Psychic Frogs and, Scythecat Cubs and the like. People were chipping in with much more reasonably statted and, ability having creatures. So the ability to just always hit your land drops, always hit your fetches, or obviously strip lock someone with the Crucible represented a much more real threat.
Yeah, it looks like you're counting your mana to... You're counting your lands, I guess, for Price of Progress exactly. Just making sure you're absolutely safe and yeah.
I think the question here was, do I need to, do I bother playing a land? And I'm obviously saying no, I'm not going to play a land here and get myself further. And Stoney's, deciding to give me some lands to try and Price of Progress, but fortunately not how it works for him, so we are sleeving it up.
Get a judge check the rulebook. I don't think there's anything that says you can't do that.
I think there might be something that says you can't do that, but we would need to check. Yeah.
Can we get a level 8 judge in here to
So we have drawn fresh 7 here. Looks like I have a crop rotation. I have the Dark Depths combo in my hand, and then notably, I also have the Talon Gates in my hand. So the Talon Gate's not where I would want it in this scenario. I would like that to be in my deck so that the crop rotation could represent protection.
Yep.
And Stony, who is cheating, has decided to stack his deck and put the Dragon Rage Channeler on top once again.
Yeah, me personally, I'd probably pick some other cards to put on top. But I guess Dragon's Rage Channeler is one of his pet cards.
So land go, and Stony is going to fire off. Looks like a fetch. Yep, getting fired off.
Notably, the fetch also taps for green. Wants it to, so pretty sweet. I always forget about that. And
yeah, not sure if he can do too much with green mana, but he has the option.
A very real looking Tundra flying in as well. Yeah. Taps for green as well. Maybe that's why it's a bit darker. It's, you know, it's been Yavimaya.
So Stony has 2 tri-lands at the moment, and
Yes.
I only have a forest, so I think he's well ahead.
And that's an Astrologian's Planisphere. This is a new one from Final Fantasy. This card, it's really good. It slices and dices. It makes the creature that it brings with it really big, and it's just great to sometimes put it on an Oculus or a Dragon's Rage Channeler, even just for more power and toughness when your creature under it's dead too. So yeah, it represents a really good clock. And you've drawn a cub. It's back.
Sidekick Cub is back. I obviously decided to stack my deck as well. Was keen to get the Cub. It worked so well for me last time that I figured, you know, he's going to play the Dragon Rage Channeler. I may as well play the Cub. And I will fire that off here, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, it does a good Merit Lage impression until you can get the Merit Lage in play. And looking like the hand's a Snapcaster Mage, a Swords to Plowshares, that is Force of Negation, not Fierce Guardianship. And there's a Preordain, so we're gonna get some triggers.
Yeah, so 2 triggers here. He's getting the Dragon Rage Surveil, and he's also getting the counter put onto... I believe it goes on the creature. We've put it on the equipment there, but it does go on the creature.
Correct, yeah.
So 1 top, 1 bottom, it looked like there for Stony.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to get his land drop. Just to make sure that he's feeling pretty safe, and we have a Swords on the cat.
So I'm pretty sad to see the cat go. Obviously, as we saw in the last game, the cat can carry you coast to coast, so getting its swords, not what I want to happen, but it is 1 less answer to Merit Lage, so the sword is now in the bin.
Oh. And a VV going down into the graveyard. Opting not to play VV, I guess.
So a lot of pressure here by putting the VV in the graveyard. Obviously turns on the Delirium, so he's just attacked me for 6. In this spot, I would not normally like to fire off an early Merit Lage, even though we have seen me do that against Junk and have it go awry. You would generally like to save that, but with 6 damage coming down per turn, that is a fairly fast clock, so it does become a little more tempting. Despite the fact that, as I mentioned, we would really like to see that Talon Gate in the deck, just for that added layer of protection. But we do see me play out the Dark Depths here.
This is threatening the Dark Depths to Yavimaya in play, so terrifying. And yep, Swords in the graveyard, so
yeah, seen Stoney's list with the number of answers. This is a post-board game now, so he should probably have a Submerge. Didn't check the sideboard, but I imagine he has one. But seeing the Swords in the graveyard, is a positive. Obviously, 1 less answer.
Also, when they think about this, it's always weird when you can see your land's opponent holding up the Merit Lage, because it kind of feels like you must hold up your mana for this, and so that is all of his lands, and so he's decided, yep, I'm holding it up, and I'm getting in with my cat token and Darcy. So 6 more damage.
Yeah, and I know at this stage, I think I had seen his list earlier in the day. I know he's got the Get Lost as well, which I believe is a sorcery. I could be wrong about that, but I'm not making the Metal Age there to block, just to play around sorcery answers like a pending. And we do see the Metal Age come down. Stony would be feeling pretty good about this with the Snapcaster Mage, obviously, for the swords. And as I try and move to attack, he will fire that one off.
How does it feel when you attack with Lage and your opponent taps the lands? Is that kind of a dread feeling?
Certainly at this stage in the game. In the late game, which is when you would ideally be firing it off, it's really not that big of a deal because we're just going to be replaying those lands fairly quickly and making a second Lage. But this early in the game, when you've gone for it, if you see that, you're sort of thinking, all right, this game's probably over. But staring down 6 damage a turn, I didn't really feel like I had too many options there in terms of whether to fire it off. And we'll see if Stony can close this one out fairly quickly.
Yeah, I think once he's able to get ahead like this, it's just you with only one single opponent in play.
So just double checking, I think here that the Dragon's Rage Channeler is now turned off Delirium because of the swords no longer being in the graveyard.
Yeah, very nice. So this Renin 6 has a target. Well, target.
We are just going to see land and Bristol pass.
Yes, a card named after you, I believe.
Bristly, I'm not sure whether the card's named after me or whether I was named after the card.
Yep. Kixian will need to ask a judge about at some point.
Yeah, we'll get some clarity on that. So Stony here looks like he is bolting.
The
Might
value.
be a bolt there.
It's a lightning
Yeah,
bolt.
bolting the. And he's got a fairly large creature there, so this attack should be getting in for
Yep, we've hit a
quite
land
a lot.
off the Surveil too, so we have, I believe we have land, instant, sorcery, and creature. Delirium for our Dragon's Rage Channeler is back. We are now feeling in a good spot, and he also has that Force of Negation in hand that he's holding. So, in answer to any non-creature spell you might have, probably feeling pretty great about himself.
Yeah, I think this is, the victory lap for Stony here. So I'm firing off fetch. Taking a look through the deck at all these cards that I'm not going to get to cast. And then I think I'm actually just looking for a... Oh, no, it looks like we're looking for buy. Yep, looking for the black source.
Yeah, no.
So what are the odds here? What do we think? What are the odds for Stony here getting this game?
I put him at maybe 90 to 1, 90 to 10, maybe 90. Yeah, I feel like even a White of the Reliquary doesn't do much without another creature. So yeah, probably I'd probably put him at a high chance to win. Maybe you can sneak in some type of Tabernacle or Strip Mine effect to make those creatures go away, but his deck can operate on a small number of lands anyway, so... And this Planisphere just existing is really frustrating, because even if you kill the creature, he can just move it over. Start pumping up a different creature.
Yeah, so Stony, a very commanding spot here. Unfortunately for me, I didn't have the black source, so I couldn't fire off the white and then fetch for a Dryad Arbor to give it some fodder. So we have had to go for white pass.
Yeah.
Stony's getting a lot of triggers here on the Brainstorm. Notably, there is another line of text on the equipment that says when you draw your 3rd card each turn, which I'm just reading now. So he's getting 2 triggers on that and 1 on the Surveil, which is heaven for the Jeskai player, really.
Yep. Feels good to have it all, and yeah, this Planisphere card has been really good. You sometimes quite often draw 3 cards in a turn, playing a blue-based deck, and it also is just really good with card selection of Dragon's Rage Channel as well. You can dig for those Ponder preordain effects. Also really with Cameo as well. He quite often likes you drawing 3 cards a turn as well.
Yeah, so I think... Alright, looks like I'm firing off a crop rotation that will no doubt, you would imagine, get forced. So putting that land into the graveyard is part of the cost. So notably, even if it gets countered, you are sacking that land, and Stony doesn't have to think too long about firing off the Force of Negation.
Pitching a Force of Will as well. Brutal.
Yeah, Force pitching Force. So I believe the crop rotation should be exiled. Or was it the Force of Negation that was pitched?
I think it was the Force of Negation was pitched to the Force of Will. So
Yeah, so staying in the graveyard there. Stony getting through for a big chunk of damage.
just deciding what he's got the option for a Mystic Sanctuary here as well. So he could go and get back his Force of Will again, or something else like a Brainstorm to get more counters on his Planisphere. A lot of options for him. Yeah, something that's an Oculus. Why not? Really strong card as well in this deck.
Yeah, the Oculus coming down. Has to exile some cards from the graveyard there, so probably just thinking here about how he can best keep Delirium.
Yeah, it looks like we have instant sorcery, creature, and land. Now we have a 5/5 that also makes an extra 2 power every upkeep, every opponent's upkeep. It's really once it got pointed, I think we see a lot less Oculuses, but it's still a really, really good threat. And we have no Manifest Dread token, which is interesting. This is definitely a GRV if I was a judge, but
Is that not the token there underneath the Oculus?
well, there's an actual Manifest Dread token that
Oh, we want the actual token to
you
represent
put it on top of the upside down card. For anyone that played Duskmourn draft, they know that you gotta have the tokens. It could be anything under there. It could be an Exalted Angel, for example.
So I've drawn a fetch land for turn, having a bit of a think about whether I have any outs in this spot. Obviously, Stony can't even really count how much power he has on the board at the moment, but I would assume threatening lethal.
Yeah, that's a lot. Your hand is Talon Gates, Renin 6, and is that a commercial district?
So fetch land here represents Dryad Arbor for the white. So we have the ability to put any land from our deck into play. Looks like Stony has flipped up a Dreadhorde.
There it is. It's a big one to get now, especially with what's in our graveyard. We have a Lightning Bolt in there as well, so
yeah, it's basically a choose your own adventure for Stony at this point. Like, how do you want to kill them? Do you want to bolt to the face for the final damage? Do you want to just swing in with team?
I'm going for style points here. I'm bolting your creatures. I'm just not attacking. That's what I'm doing.
Stony looks like is not doing that. He's just going for the swing. Oh, he is bolting the creature, but he is certainly going to swing in.
I think the bolt is not going to be quite effective. Putting on your side of the board, you can have the bolt. You can bolt one of my creatures.
He's just showing it to me. He's really in his victory lap stage at this point. Just hey, check out my bolt. I'm going to put it
Have you seen
as
my
close
lightning
to
bolt
you
art?
as possible.
Have you seen?
I'm going to move it now.
Yeah.
I'm going to move it a little closer to the white. It looks like. But in response, we are fetching for the Dryad Arbor and activating the white. Putting the Glacial Chasm into play. This is typical lands behavior. Just like, well, you're going to win this game, but I'm going to make it hard for you. I am going to just hang in here for as long as I can. And, I do have some outs still in the deck, so
yep,
we're going to have to rip for them.
We're going to time here. That's how it goes. Once that Glacial Chasm comes in.
Well, yeah, we're going to time on a casual Saturday game. There is no timer, but we will still try and go to time.
Agreed. The Chasm taps for mana. This card's great.
Yeah, so really only buying one turn here, though, because you do have to pay life for each counter on it. However, notably, the white survived through that bolt thanks to the Dryad Arbor going into the bin.
Yep.
So we do have at least one blocker, and we're playing out a Renin 6 here. So there is some slight chance here that I will be able to rebuy the depth stage. However, looks like the Renin 6 here is, fairly likely to die.
I'd probably put some good money that Renin 6 is not long for this build, yeah. Creatures in that even manifest straight as well, upside down. Could be anything.
It could be Emrakul. I mean, yeah.
Be a Dreadnought. Great way of getting a Dreadnought into players with an Oculus.
Yeah, so notably if you flicker these Manifest Dread creatures, they do come in as the creature. Looks like Stoney's gone Oculus and Channeler.
Jam straight into the chasm, I like it. Overkill as well.
I think, yeah, everything at Renin 6 there, just to play around some removal. And then getting a pre-war. So yeah, like we said, it's sort of a victory lap here. He's putting the Vivian to play.
Just game actions after game actions. I love to see it. Making all this mana.
Yeah, I put the Chasm into play to give him the extended victory lap, but it's interesting, the earlier decision whether you would fire off the Marit Lage there. Having already seen the swords, I think I had seen Stoney's deck list earlier this day, so I believe he was looking at 1 to 2 outs, so Snapcaster and possibly Submerge from the board. So deciding to jam there, but obviously when you spend a lot of time telling people not to go for early Marit Lages, when you go for them yourself, obviously you're going to have to punish just to, the universe has to make that happen.
Speaking of victory laps, the Lands Discord is going to have a field day with this one.
Yeah, probably. As a proponent of don't go for an early Lage, be patient. Firing them off, obviously, you get punished. Looks like, we decided to shuffle that one up and try for a third game.
Game 3. Alrighty. So it looks like Stoney's going down to 6 for this game, but he's on the draw, so he's going to recoup that loss.
So going for a fetch. I think we're going to try and find the nice art forest here. There we go.
Yeah, very nice art, and also very disciplined of you to kind of prioritize fetching basics. Even the first land you fetch being a basic is quite important, especially into this, price of progress deck.
We have to, respect the moons as well, and play your basics, but obviously the fast spawn, the high value target here, no longer getting misstepped that frequently, but obviously they're still going to have the force when you try and run that out.
And I think Stoney has a Dragon's Way Channel in his hand, is that?
Stoney has been cheating all day, and he's decided to put the Dragon Race Channeler on top again.
Well, cheating's a great way to beat lands, so nice job.
Yeah, he just always has it, it's the best way to play Magic, just always have it. We are firing off a Surveil here. Looks like I've left it on top. High value target there, and the Dragon Race Channeler getting in just for 1. And it was a choke, so I am looking to choke my blue opponent. Probably the most fun you can have in Magic, choking a blue opponent. Considering here though the Crucible.
Yeah, I think that's a fine choice. Maybe you're trying to bait out like a Force of Negation or something from your opponent before you kind of stick the choke. It's a good way to probe for counterspell.
Yeah, so I think decision there was choke or Crucible, but given that he wasn't tapped out, the Crucible gets a little more appealing there. Wait for him to tap out with the choke. Although that has allowed Stoney here to fetch a Surveil land.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty good. He's able to kind of make all of his colors, and he gets a bit of card selection. He might be able to surveil something into the graveyard for his Dragon's Race Channeler. So yeah, sweet card. Still dies the choke though.
Stoney taking a look, and looks like he's binning. He has binned an Astrolabe.
Yeah, that's a nice artifact to hit for your Dragon's Race Channeler.
So I'm not feeling too threatened by the clock here at this stage. Notably, I do have the Endurance. At some point, I am probably going to get a chance to eat this Dragon Race Channeler. Fairly common legacy interaction once they are forced into the attack with the 3/3, flashing the Endurance, tuck that graveyard, and Endurance eats Dragon Race Channeler. So not too worried about this clock here.
Yeah, that's a nice interaction and a bit of a sign of weakness here for Stoney having to play another Surveil land as well instead of an untapped land.
Surveilling, and yeah, it looks like he's hit another land there, so that's not really going to help him. Oh no, sorry, we're surveilling now, so he is also hit another land. So yeah, getting in for the additional 1. And now I have drawn a 6. So I do still have an option here. Could go for the 6, could go for the choke. With the Crucible in play and the fast one in the graveyard, the 6 is what I am prioritizing here in terms of wanting to resolve. So I do believe the play would be to fire off the choke just in case of counterspell. The 6 obviously is going to allow you to recast permanents from the graveyard, so we'd much rather get the choke countered than the 6. We'd still have access to the choke the next turn if the 6 can resolve.
Yeah, really cool line as well. And yeah, not a lot of yeah, 6 is just great. It digs you through all the cards you did. There it is. Big choke. It's resolved.
So yeah, firing this one off, happy for it to get countered, but it does resolve. So we have choked one of those lands at the moment.
Feels good. Always feels good.
Yeah, as we say, like if you don't want to get choked, just don't play blue, right? Like just stop putting islands in your deck and you won't get choked.
It's like an Arena of Glory is our land.
I think just having the discussion here about how tempting it is to fetch a Dryad Arbor here and try and block the Dragon Rage Channeler.
Yeah. High risk gameplay here. All for it.
Yeah, don't believe it's the line I'm going for, but I believe I mentioned to Stoney, like it is quite tempting just to try and get that trade. But I don't believe that's the line we are going to go for here. I do have the crop rotation in hand, so the potential here to fire off the crop rotation if I so choose.
I wonder what you are fetching here. You Bajuka Bog, it's just a bayou, okay.
Notably can't fetch a Bajuka Bog.
Yes, that's correct.
But we are going to fire off crop rotation. You can crop rotation for a Bajuka Bog.
Yes, tutor for tutor. Love it. The big brain play here is getting your Dryad Arbor out after fetching with your Wood of Foothills. Really confuse your opponent a lot with the choke in play. I think that tends to help.
Yeah. When you feel like you're ahead, I think you should start going for those sorts of plays just to flex on people. But again, I don't think that's what I'll do. I'm too scared of getting blown out. So I'm going to just take a more boring line and find a strip mine.
Yeah, I think this is a good one, especially Arena of Glory. It represents like a hasty Pyrogoy for a hasty Fury, or even some of that can be really scary.
Well, notably, it also requires an activation cost of red. So we could take the plateau.
True.
Cutting off the Arena of Glory there as well.
Both great options here.
Less appealing to take that Surveil because obviously once he taps it, it is going to become choked. But in response, looks like we're firing off a Flame of Anor.
Yes, with a wizard. Okay.
So destroying the Crucible, always a good in response to a strip mine.
It's not a wizard, it's a human shaman. So only one mode.
Yeah, so Stoney like just cheating here. Me just trusting that he has a wizard, but Stoney just going for the old cheat.
Yeah, it's not a wizard.
Didn't pick that one up at the time, but once again, sitting here with 6, knowing that my choke resolved, I'm not really expecting him to have a counterspell here.
Yeah. Notably, he's only untapping a single Arena of Glory next turn, so this feel pretty good.
Yeah, we are getting out the dice here to indicate.
Beautiful. This is what I want to see as well. Great.
No untaps. This is the no untap dice. The sorry, but I am currently choking you, so there will be no untap.
Yeah.
We do have the Shifting Woodlands in play as well, and the Dark Depths in hand. So if we were to discard that Dark Depths, we would have the opportunity to make a Marit Ledge if we wanted to go down that route, provided we had Delirium. But we are seeing the 6 here. And then obviously not trusting that this will live, we are going to try and get some immediate value, and we're going to cut Fast Bond from the graveyard.
Yeah. Gonna help us, yeah, help us get some lands into play, and you're threatening the Crucible next turn as well.
Yeah, which would give us the Crucible and the Fast Bond, so we would only need the Zoran Orb at that point for the combo. And we are steering down just Dragon Rage Channeler and effectively one land, so feeling pretty in control of this one. Stony rearranging the graveyard, just for fun. Looking at his lands there, thinking maybe I could untap these while he's not looking. Doesn't go for it.
Yeah, I find it's a good way to get in front of a choke, is to just start untapping your lands. We've got an island, so we get a Lotus Petal even, not an island.
So it looks like he's got a Dreadhorde and a Swords in hand. Notably, the Dragon Rage Channeler is attacking into a 6, but I'm not blocking here. I want the 6 to live. You know, don't want to get punked out with some sort of combat trick. So happy to take the damage. Have the 6 live. Do you have to attack here? No lands in hand, so you do need a guard for the retrace cost. Thankfully, 6 provides you with lands, so just get in for an attack and find the land that we need.
The Modern Horizons 3 card, so it does it all.
Yeah, it slices and it dices.
It does it all.
So just realizing I should tap there, leaving green and black open. And yeah, now we have a Crucible in play. We are able to play as many lands as we want from the graveyard. Obviously going to be taking 1 damage each time. Do need to watch the life total here. But Strip Mine, we're going to start to go to town here. Take the remaining lands. Strip Mine again. Take that Arena of Glory. And really, yeah, in a really commanding spot here, just sort of the only consideration is how low can I afford to go on life, you know, to try and play out some of these cards that are in my hand. We can see an Endurance and a Renin 6.
Yeah, I guess it is. It could get caught by something, yes.
Yeah, he's got, you know, cards like Price of Progress. Not sure whether he's got a Fire Blast or not in the deck. Like, just want to avoid going too low to get punked out by something. But I believe we will see me play 1 more land to hold up this Endurance, which, as we mentioned earlier, is quite a high-quality blocker for the Dragon Rage Channeler.
Yeah, and showing up in more and more main decks as well, especially in Melbourne right now. I think you're either playing Endurance or you're playing a deck that gets got by Endurance, and there's no real middle ground.
Yeah, so as I said, just having to think, can I afford to take more damage here? How much more damage can I take off my own Fast Bond? I believe we will settle on putting that Strip Mine into play. Always good to have it in play just in case. And yeah, hold up the 3 mana for Endurance. Sturdy untapping with 0 mana.
Feels pretty good. This is where you want to be with as a lands player, I feel.
Yeah, if you can get your opponent down to 0 permanents before you win the game, that's really where you want to be. But we are taking 1 step closer towards it with the Endurance flashing in, getting rid of that graveyard, and blocking the Dragon Rage Channeler.
I'd argue that this is 0 permanents, right? I'd say that you're
functional. Yeah, functional.
It's your victory lap now, I think. And there it is, the fist bump.
Yeah, Stony, not as gracious as me. Like, as a lands player, I let him have quite a long victory lap, whereas he just conceded. So
yeah,
don't rate that.
Yeah, great game though. Really good games.
Yeah, good set of games there. Nice to see that Jeskai deck in action.
Yep, and appreciate your time today, and thank you so much for watching. Remember to give our video a like and subscribe. It does help us a lot. And see you next time.